Hello and welcome back to Factorio Vanilla 1.0. In our last episode, we started going down the bus, looking at what else we can upgrade to make our base perform at the science rate that we want to reach at. And we're going to resume that in a moment, but I wanted to point out a couple things and talk about a couple things. First off, the real bottleneck right now is Assemblers 3, not red belts. So I've added speed modules 4 to both of the speed module makers because they are actually as you can see, this barely takes any time to run at all, but these take a long time to make. So I've added speed modules 3 to both of them so that they crank out as fast as humanly possible. And that should hopefully help with the Assembler 3 making. We are, of course, still taking damage from the biters, but I also came back down here to red and green science because I wanted to demonstrate why I chose the 2.5 science per second, which is 150 science per minute, goal for this for the series, or at least probably for the series. I don't know that I'm going to go any further, but at least kind of as a starting point, and then we can have a conversation about further later after that. So the reason is, if you look at the recipe for like red science, it has a 5-second crafting time. Or 5 seconds of machine time, which would be 5 seconds if the machine speed was 1. So if you pretend for a moment the machine speed is 1, then if you count up the number of machines I have here, it's 10. So that means that this produces 2 science per second, 1 science for each set of 5 per second if these machine speeds were 1, but they're not 1. The machine speed is 1.25, as you can see there on the tooltip that appears over in this area. Actually, if I mouse over one of them over there, the crafting speed is 1.25 here. So simply just take the 1 plus 1, and then you multiply that by the 1.25, and you end up with 2.5 science per second. And I like that number because for things like red science, it means exactly 1 gear maker. For things like green science, which by the way we have 12 because the crafting speed here is 6 seconds. But for things like green science, it means exactly 1 inserter maker, I think it is. Or maybe it's one of both. Now I can't remember the ratio. But the point is, it's a very sort of balanced ratio, especially for these early sciences. There's not really any weird numbers. And even the same thing goes for military science. 1 of these plus 3 of these gives you enough red ammo for 10 gray science machines, which is exactly, again, it's 10 seconds crafting time, but it's 2 per craft, so it's 5 seconds each science pack. So that's why we have 10, because that's 2, and then times 1.25 is 2.5. And the grenades are an even number. The blue science, I think, was an even number as well. Like, everything is even numbers at this ratio, like whole machines and things like that. So it ends up being a really balanced number to aim for before you start modulating and beaconing everything. And that's in outposting everything and all that kind of setup. And that's kind of where I didn't want to go. Getting past that point kind of is boring, I guess, for lack of a better word. To me, boring is not the right word. It shouldn't say boring, but it's beyond the point of like excitement or interest to me. It ends up being a sort of tedious, I guess, is the thing. I like it, but I only like it up to a certain point. And then I'm kind of like, well, why do I want to keep doing this? Why should I keep setting up the same types of outposts, more mining, more smelting, all that kind of stuff? There's not really a drive for me to do it anymore. So where we left off in the last episode is where I want to resume again today, and that's here at Blue Circuits. Blue Circuits, we did do the 3-in-1 module method, which gives us, let me do it here, which gives us the 30% productivity, which is nice for the input materials, and it also gives us a little bit of extra speed, just 5%, but a little bit helps. And so I want to look at now how many blue circuits we need here, again, just for science, and then we'll kind of round up and make a little bit more. So we need 3.7 just for science. So if we said we wanted to make 4 per second, and we do our modules the same kind of way here, as we have... Oops, that's not what I wanted. Undo that. I messed up already. Just the blue sciences module here. If we wanted to do the modules that the way that it's set up, and assuming we get green circuits, red circuits, and sulfuric acid from the bus, which is what we're doing, then that means that we need to have 23.5 of these machines making blue circuits. And I want to also look at what the cost should be for yellow belts. The cost in yellow belts is 4.2 yellow belts of green circuits and a half of a belt of red circuits. So we obviously don't want to do yellow belts here. We want to do red belts here. And that's 2.1 red belts. And again, about 0.3, a little less than, or about a quarter of a belt of red circuits. And that's 23.5 of these factories. So what I want to do to start with is I want to turn off my logistics so that they quit bringing me stuff, because I'm claiming all the assembly machines, and I probably shouldn't. Let's do that and throw them back into the network here. That way the network, I wanted to fill up my my belts, but I didn't want to fill up my assembly machines. So let's upgrade all of these belts. We technically don't need to upgrade the red circuits because we do have them feeding in here, and we're getting enough. A half of a yellow belt is plenty. But we could. Did we change? And we changed one of these. Is this the one we changed? We changed this so that they merged together. I think we changed this one too. But we changed them so they merged together from both directions, just to make sure that both sources, because we have one here and one over here, that both sources were here providing to us. So I think at this point we will just change or upgrade the belts from the green circuits here. So I hope that explanation, by the way, on the science made sense. If it doesn't, let me know, and I can try maybe a different method of explaining it. But I hope that makes sense to everyone. Gotta get out of that pipe tangle there, and just upgrade these like this, and then this, and that'll get all those upgraded to red belts, which means a lot more green circuits getting pulled in here, but that's okay. And we still need to do some work on the green circuits as previously discussed. But I'm going to do that kind of last. I want to go through everything else and make sure that we have everything we need. So then we have, then we need 20, what do we need, 23.5 of those? Now I've forgotten what the number was, and I closed the thing like a fool. Here, yes, and there, yes. We wanted 4 per second, which gives us a little bit extra for things like the mall. Oh yeah, that's now that's draining it dry. This was 12, I think, or 16. It was 16. So we need to add 8 more to this, and we kind of can't. At least not easily. This one's done. You're done. You're gone. This all goes here, and that one too. While we're at it, you're done. You're done. 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 Gone. Done. Lots done, but only that much goes there. How much of this can we actually add? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's copy from here. And I add 6. I can add 6 if I move the roboport out of the way, which is what I'm going to do. So let's put the roboport over here somewhere, maybe. And then I think I'll put one over here just to make sure we get all that coverage in. And I'm going to have the bots come and pick this one up. And we can take these guys out too. And then I think I'll add the 6. Even though I can't add to 8 just yet. Without taking these guys. Actually, what I can do here is I can put speed in all of these. Load them up. And that will make them mine faster. You don't really want a productivity or miners because you have the mining productivity research here, which is way better than putting productivity modules in, because, where is it at? Mining, productivity, there it is. Because it doesn't slow the speed down. It only boosts the productivity. So adding productivity modules to miners is not something that's worth it, because then you're just going to add even more productivity, yes, but you're better off spending your resources on this productivity research and just putting speed modules in them if you really need to clear them really fast. And these are going to take a little bit to clear, although that one's already done, so that we can take out. And this one's just about done, as you can see, just under 1,000 left, but this one's going to take a minute. So what we could do is cut these 3 and maybe even move them around a little bit, like this. So that this one, so they all have a little bit more under them, but it also means they'll mine a little bit faster. The other option would have been maybe even to do something like this. Take these out. And then do something like this. Yeah, that's even better. And then take a belt like this. And that way we even pick up more. These don't have that much under them. And these have a lot more, but they're also picking up underneath these. So it'll kind of balance out in the end. And where are we missing productivity modules? Oh, for this. Yeah. All right, it's on its way now. So we still need 2 more blue circuit machines, but at least this will get us part of the way there. And then we can finish it up once we get these miners cleared. Oh, I need power over here. That would be good. Don't walk away until you take care of everything, Wally. Let's just do right there in the middle. We can put a light under it too. Sure. So hopefully that'll go fast. The other thing we could potentially do is force the priority here, which actually... No, it kind of isn't. But it's sparse enough, even with 5 speed boosted miners, that it's not a full belt. So unless it backs up here, we're not overproducing for that belt anyway. So the next thing we have here is the low density structures that are supplying yellow science and a little bit for the mall. And so I want to take my Kirk McDonald calculator and just look at that. And let's put this at yellow belt just because I want to see what the yellow belts are. And we need to upgrade these machines to green machines, of course, the assembler 3s. So we'll go ahead and let the bots start doing that. And then this tells me that I need to have just less than a half a belt of steel, which is what we have. This tells me that we need to have 12.5 plastic, which is just less than a yellow belt of plastic, which we have. But that we need 50 copper. And we only have 15, 15, and 7.5 coming in. So what I want to do here is upgrade the copper belts to red belts. Here and here. The inside one can stay a yellow belt. It's fine. Because that little bit, the copper that's on there, it can use it if it can, but it doesn't have to, but it doesn't matter. And this also lets us, I think we put a little bit extra in here. This also lets us overproduce a little for, I think it was 40 that we needed for yellow science, and we put down 48. So if I even change that to 48, just to make sure the numbers here, we still only need 6 steel, 15 plastic, I must have planned that one out right, and 60 copper. So this would be exactly the amount of copper we need. So we could even not even put the copper here in the center and just let it be a half a belt of steel. But it doesn't hurt to have it. It may not help, but it doesn't hurt. And that's my motto. So this is where a lot of our copper gets dumped into. But let's keep moving on and look at the rest of the math. So we have, again, more stuff here for yellow science. We have the robot frames, the flying robot frames. And I want to check those numbers because we modularized the yellow science here just to make sure that we had enough stuff for everything. Oh, and we finished that research. Before we proceed, before I forget and don't notice that there's research still happening, or not happening anymore. Let's do let's redo our loop here of stuff, and this one, and then I'm gonna go back and loop again, and that way every so often I can go back in there and see what's open or what I can fill in. By filling in all 7 blocks, then hopefully I can remember the order that I did them in. So we have here what we need for the for the flying robot frames. And for flying robot frames, we have green circuits in, steel in, batteries in, lubricant in, and iron plates in from the bus. So green circuits uses, it's like 4 per second. So a yellow belt is, a half a yellow belt really here is more than enough. Steel, it only uses 1.67, so that's more than enough. Batteries, likewise, same number, same amount. I'm not going to worry about the lubricant, it's only 12, so that's 12 and a half, that's nothing. And then 3.3 of the iron is a fraction of a belt as well. It's like 0.3 yellow belts. So we don't need to upgrade these belts, but we do need to upgrade these machines. So I'm going to go ahead and do those now. And of course, we are overtaxing still the assemblers in the mall. And this might be a good idea. Oh no, actually that's a productivity module that's short. Why are we still short productivity modules? Oh, probably these green circuits being sparse is probably the problem. Hopefully the problem. We're only using more by doing this, but at least the mall is able to keep up with us on that one. And so then we get to the actual yellow science. We already looked at the blue circuits. We already looked at the low density structures. Jeez. And we looked at the flying robot frames. And so for those 3 items, we have 2.5 flying robot or low density structures per second coming in, which is a fraction of a belt. We have the whole belt coming in here, but that's only just because we have 2 belts anyway, so it doesn't hurt. And then the flying robot frames, we need 0.83 per second, so that's fine. And then the blue circuits is 1.67, and if you recall, we're making 4. And the reason we're making 4 is because these are also used over here for the what are those called? Rocket control units, and a few that are used for the satellite. So the only issue we have with the blue circuits is how many we're using for module making. And the same thing applies, of course, for green circuits and red circuits too. And we obviously don't have enough. So at some point in the future, we'll have enough green circuits, and then we will also have enough. And we also will have hopefully enough to make a few modules. The thing with making modules is eventually, once this base is done, for lack of a better word, we're not going to be making anything else in the mall or in the module assembly area here. So those become kind of those idle, and then all those resources that we have for those areas are no longer really needed. So you end up you don't have to count those entirely, but you should, because you want to make a lot of those items. And in order to make a lot of those items, you need a lot of circuits. So the next thing we want to look at, of course, is purple science. I want to close a few of my tabs that I have open, because I have tabs open like crazy of all these breakouts we've been working on. And I want to make sure that I close some of them. Okay, so purple science, yellow belts. I have my master plan set to blue belts, so I can see how many blue belts we needed on the bus. But when I go into a specific assembly, then I want to have the yellow belts. So this is kind of all together. So I want to count everything kind of together. So we have stone bricks. We have plastic coming in here. We don't have plastic coming in here. We have red circuits coming in here. We have green circuits coming in here. We have iron, and we have steel coming in here, and we have stone coming in here. Okay, so let's first of all, we can go ahead and let the base start doing this bit. Being careful that I don't highlight anything other than the assembly machines at this point. And of course that little, if I cancel this, the little pop-up there tells us we're converting 4 machines. So that's good to know. So let's start here on the inputs. We need almost a full yellow belt of stone. So actually this whole belt needs to be upgraded. And I think we figured that out last time. And then forgot to do this, or decided to wait, or both. But we need to actually upgrade this whole belt, which is kind of surprising to me that we need that much stone, but also not. So, and then the next piece is that's just the stone, by the way, that's required for making the rails. That's not the stone that goes into the stone bricks. I did filter that out properly. So the next thing we have here is steel, but steel is in 2 different places, so I need to be careful with that. But the total amount of steel we need is about 1.5 yellow belts. If I expand out just the rails component, we need the same amount of steel as we need stone here. So having the half a red belt here is perfect for this portion. And then if I expand out just the furnaces part here, we need 8.33, which is actually just more than a half of a yellow belt. So we need to upgrade this whole belt to red too. Let's go ahead. I know I skipped the productivity modules, but we'll come back to it. So I'm going to upgrade even back up to there. Upgrade this whole bit here. Like that. Because we need that to be upgraded. Right now our bottleneck is space science, by the way. And I will show why that is in a little bit. Okay, and then finally we need red and green circuits. We need just under a half a belt of red circuits and just over half a belt, or just under half belt of green circuits and just over a half a yellow belt of red circuits. So we need to upgrade this input belt as well. Red circuits supposed to be... No, they weren't supposed to be red belts. They were supposed to be 2 yellow belts. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then this, and then these. This, that, there, and straight down here. Boom. That'll make sure we get enough red circuits in here once this actually goes again. So that should do for... And then iron. We need 6.25 iron, so that's about a half a belt, a little under half a belt, so that's perfectly fine. It's a whole belt coming in there. We'd already fixed this red circuit array, and it does only produce... It would produce a full yellow belt if we were getting enough green circuits in here, which we're obviously not. We're getting like maybe a half a belt in here. So that's got to be upgraded. Green circuits is the major bottleneck. So right here you can see that these are not a problem. And we did 3-in-1 boost these just to make the array a little bit smaller and a little bit more manageable. But our issue here is still green circuits. And yes, there's a million green circuits sitting out here. But that will only help matters for a moment. And then they become completely gone, and then it doesn't help things. So it would give us a temporary boost, but really items sitting on the end of the belts don't give you much. So we have these, and the green circuits is the issue completely for why we are not launching a rocket is every 6 minutes or whatever the time is at this point. So everything's been upgraded. The only thing we need to do is we need to run that second steel belt down the bus from way back. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to shift this to the output to the left, and that way it forces it in here to go into that one. And the same thing here. I should put this there. And the reason I'm doing it this way is just so I don't have to reconfigure all of these. Did I copy that? I did not. Let's copy that. That way it forces as much as possible still up into that belt. And then the rest here gets bypassed. Thank you, autosave. And this one can just go straight through to here. It's just kind of a variant on the regular shifter. But it works just, it does the same exact action, so it's fine. We're just taking everything off of the top belt and then shifting the bottom belt up onto the top belt once we have actually stuff on that belt. Okay, I'm just going to do this one step further here, so I don't have to move that power pole either. This will be just a long jump here. This one I'm going to have to just trust that I'm not taking too much off, which I'm not, so it'll be just a single shift for both splits. This is going into the mall, and it's 2 half belts basically, so it's fine. It's 2 half yellow belts, so a whole red belt will be fine with that. And we keep going back to here, and now we have the 2 full belts of steel flowing down the bus. Wow, 50 turrets are engaging the enemy. That's spicy meatball. We have a lot of pollution, I assume? Yes, we do. And I'm not going to be able to reach a good chunk of it. At least, maybe not. Alright, so we have everything hooked up. So now, still, or again, or whatever, our issue is green circuits. And I want to think about how to handle this. What we have here, I think we previously discussed, can only handle 2 full red belts, or is it 2 full blue belts? Let's see. 32 factories is just under 2 full blue belts. And we needed a total of how much green circuits? 3.5 blue belts. So the whole green circuit bus needs to be blue belts, basically. Which is 61.8, so we'll call it 64 just for easy math. 64 of these assemblers making green circuits. So obviously we can't make this work here. But what if we changed it, like we talked about the last time, what if we changed it so that we were using a kind of a 1-to-1, 3-in-1 moduled setup where 1 wire maker was feeding 1 green circuit maker. That would mean that we would need more than 64 green circuits because 1 wire maker can't feed 1 green circuit maker entirely. So it would be a little starved out. Because we need 74 green circuit wire makers for the 64 green circuit makers. Wait a minute. Let's do, was it 45 items per second on the blue belt? 45. Yes, 45. So I'm actually going to make my goal here. Wait a minute. This says I need 4.9 blue belts. Something's not right. Oh, that's what's not right. Okay, I only need 3.5 blue belts. Let's say I want 4 blue belts, which is 180 items per second. Okay, that's a better number. Then I need 53 assemblers and making green circuits, and 61 assemblers making wires. But that means we need 61 of each, because we can't... It's too difficult to line these up properly to make sure that the wire assemblers, 2 wire assemblers are always feeding. Well, I think it is. Actually, let's test this out. I need some of these, though. Can I get some stuff from the bots? I don't need them, I suppose, but I want to have them. Here they come. Not them yet. Yeah. Okay, we have some. That's all I needed was some. And I think I figured out that the number was about 7 to 6. And the problem becomes... actually, no. Can I do it like this? How many can I get before I start... Actually, I can do 7 to 6. This is crazy, but I actually can do this. Should we do it? That's the craziest part of all. I think we should. Let me double check the math. It is 52.8. No, sorry. 60.9 divided by 52.8 will give us exactly what we need. And that is 1.153, ratio of 1.153. 7 to 6 is a ratio of 1.16, which is slightly more, which is what we want. We want slightly more copper wire to green circuits than we need. So 7 to 6 will work. So this crazy array would actually work, assuming we can get everything in here. Should I do stack inserters for this? I don't know. Let's start without them. Let's do this. And I'm not going to put the modules in here yet, just so that I don't have to deal with it. But let's just see if we can lay this out correctly. So 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, and then 1 there, 2 there. Will this... I don't know that this will balance. That's the issue. Is this one might not put most of its stuff in here. So this one could put a large percentage in here and so on, and then reverse here like this. And then this one should be half and half. I don't know if it's going to work. But I guess that's what Factorio is about, is experimenting. So assuming that this works, we need to still have the 3 belts coming in. We still have the same shape pattern, even though it's the same distance pattern here, even though it's differently laid out. The issue might be on the outputs here. Let me copy this shenanigans a little bit here. Can I make this work? And I think the answer is yes. Do I want to do it? I think I want to do it here, like this. Because I think I want, at least in some of these places, I want to do a shifter. Actually, I can probably do it after every set, like one here. So maybe I do... Nope, I gotta do straight belts in here. Like this, and like this, and like that. And then this one can go here, and this shifts like that. And then we just have a couple of belts like this. And then on the other side, on the copper side, we have our inputs like this. And then I shift here and here with the shift in the opposite direction, output priority to left. Like that. I think that might just work. And then these still get merged in. This needs to all be, well, the output needs to be blue belts. So let's, I don't have a blue belt upgrade yet, upgrade planner yet. So let me add one. This needs to go from, red, red, red. I keep clicking the wrong things. That's why I'm clearing out and going back in. And blue, blue, blue. And then upgrade only the outputs. Or actually, even in fact, we only really need to upgrade the... Technically, we only need to upgrade the splitter, because there's no way these are producing a half of a red belt each at a time. So we could even just save ourselves a little bit of cost and just upgrade that part. Now we need power poles in here too. These, I'm going to upgrade these. There, and please go there. These need to be out here somewhere. 3 of those, that's good. And then we can do 3 of these. That's good too. Now I want to move this whole thing down. And if you've spotted why already, then you're as bad as me. And if you haven't, then I'm just as bad as me. The only question here is, do we have enough supply? Oh, yes, we do. We only need... Or, wait, I gotta double check, actually. Don't say, oh, yes, we do, Wally. Switch to red belts. We need 5.4 red belts of copper plate, which we have 6. And we need 4.7 red belts of iron plate. So that 9th belt, I need to find a way to sneak it in here somewhere. And split it and share it from both sides. I could even sneak it all the way down and then split it and bring it in the bottom. No, I don't like that idea. Okay, what kind of crazy do I want to do with this? I have an idea. I have a crazy idea. It's going to require me moving everything over by, or half of everything over by 1. But my crazy idea is to run that extra iron belt straight down the middle. And that way it's in the middle, and then split it at some point. The only issue is, of course, that it's really not gonna fit well. The other option is to make these input belts for the iron be, at least make some of them be blue belts, and then split that extra red belt onto those blue belts. That would work. That would probably be a little bit less insane. So make like, make one of the two blue belts on each side, or one of the two red belts on each side of blue belt. So instead of having 30, 60, 90, 120 coming in, we need to have 130, basically 140 coming in. So if we take one more belt of 30, that's 150 then. And we split it somehow onto two, split it in half, which means there's 15 going to each half, and we add each half to the 30 that's here, then that gives us 45 on each, which is exactly what a blue belt is. Okay. That sounds crazy, just crazy enough to work. And then I don't have to move a bunch of stuff around in here or anywhere else. So what I want to do now is I want to cut off the inputs somewhere. Probably just at the same place all the way across. Just do it right there and there. And let the bots come and get it. We'll let them drain out and stop producing. In the meantime, I can do, I can take these up like this, and I can put the modules in like this, and like this, and then I can copy this one, and let the base bots fill those in. There. Let the base bots fill those in, and then fill them with modules too, and then we should have everything we need. Should. This is just about done. So now I need to rip it all out of here. Start ripping it all out of here. The belts don't need to be ripped out. These power poles don't technically need to be ripped out either. Is that right next to? Yes, it is. Okay, so everything else, though, I'm just going to rip it out. The middle, both assemblies, all the way across to the other, to the other assembly. And this is everything. There's still a bit of iron left down here in the bottom. I'm just going to let the base bots pick it all up. Good job, base bots. And there's a lot of machines going into storage, but we're going to reuse them in a minute. I'm going to take this out as well here, just to make my life easier. And we'll upgrade this blue belt, and that, or this to a blue belt, this to a blue belt. Do it that way, I guess. And then this way. And what I should have done, that I didn't do, but I will do it in a little bit, is I should have put in, oh, I did put in. Okay, then we just need belts here in the middle that go, oh, these need to be blue belts too, but I'll do them like this, it's fine. And then we go here, here, and then I'll have to just design the other side. And we need to upgrade this, that, this, and these. I think that's everything. Because the belt here doesn't need to be blue. It just needs to be red. So I'd rather be more efficient. Oh, you know what else I need to... I do need to take out these copper belts too, because I'm repasting them with differently placed splitters. So these need to come out too. Okay, so that's half. The bots haven't provided all of the modules yet. Is that going to be a problem? I'm trying to think if that's a problem or not. Because they came to me with them first. What's in storage? There's no productivity in storage. And that's the ones we need the most of. Well, let's try it. I'm going to cut it all and paste it down there. Now, for this, we need to have, what was the number again? 53 of these. And we're getting 6 per. So 53 divided by 6, well, if we say 54, divided by 6, that's 9. So one of these sides needs to be 4, and one of the other side needs to be 5 of these. So I may just make 5 of each. It may just be easier. We can take this again. 2, 3, and uh-oh, and double uh-oh. I didn't think about that. There, and there. Okay, undo all of that, and we're going to move this up, misaligned with the rest of the base. Take these guys out. I'm going to put them just 1. Oh, I can't see. 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I'll reroute these copper belts somewhere else. You're going to be here. Go here. This. I'll get them down as far as they'll go. That should be enough, hopefully. Barely. Barely. And I can take the ends off of these belts. Let's do a copy here and just drag these across. Why are they not building, or not building down here? Because they can't. This needs to come down here a bit. And something like this. Why is this not getting used? Because these are the belts going into, yeah. Oh dear. Okay, where do I have now my copper recycling at? Oh, I never did set up the balancer on that either. Good job, Wally. Copper recycling is here. Okay. That's which is getting used, which is what I wanted to ask myself. Let's take this out. You two. And this can go here. That goes there. That goes there now. I'll put it there. And now I need to figure out the mirror image of this, which isn't just simply this, unfortunately. Almost, but not quite. That goes in there. This gets cut out and goes like this, but again, not... Oh no, undo. I got a belt put underneath me. This comes out. These go in. And these need to be shifted to the right. And then... Can I do this the easy way? Or do I have to do it the hard way? I think I have to do it the hard way. Take the splitters out. Put these in here like this. Put the splitters back. Take these out. Put the splitters back. Reverse everything. Can't reverse those because I don't have any belts of those. I'll just take them out. And then I will blueprint them down. There, 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 and 2 go there, except that this is one of these, which is shifted to the left. I think that's correct, and then I can just take a long bit of straight belt here and do this and that. And then this needs to be here, that needs to be there. Can I take this junk out too? Yeah, I have it disconnected already. Go out back there. And then this goes here, but I need to trim the ends. Actually, I can trim all of this back to here. Because at this point, that belt's useless. This one goes as well. all the way back to here. And then paste, there. These are garbage back here. This blue one comes out. These red ones all come out. Yeah, I know I'm kind of overtaxing things here, but it's fine. And then I need some blue. I can get rid of these blue things. Why do I have an odd number of blue undergrounds? Maybe I deleted one, but Ghost deleted the other one. I hope. Everything looks the same. Yell at me if it's not. But I do want to request some blue splitters. That should be plenty. Am I in the zone? I'm not in the zone. And by the way, the reason the copper went down by more than the iron did is because copper is on a secondary, so there's extra productivity put into the copper. All right, then we need these, and I didn't do these before, and I probably should have put them on the blueprint. So I'm going to rebalance these all as well. And then the final thing we're going to do this episode, I wonder if I should shift these as well. Probably. Yeah, these should probably be shifted too. Nope, that's the wrong way. I'm just going to run this way. Holding down shift click. And then I think it was. Nope, the other one. This one. Shift click and run back up this way. And that should be good. And then we just need to put a balancer in here. Same old 4 to 4. That one I don't want to be priority shifted. But I can do this. And I guess I should have kept the belts that I had. There. Splitter. Nope, wrong splitter. Splitter. Belt. There we go. And then cancel these things, put them back in their boxes. I don't want them right now, at least. And then, I guess I could have done this too while I had stuff, but it's fine. Paste those down. Paste these down. Paste these down. And turn this on for now, even though we don't quite have everything we need. The final thing here would be to take something like this. Let's do back one more. Splitter. More. Do the other one too. Something like this. Split it. Take it like this. Take it like this. And then I threw away my blue splitters. Blue splitters. I just want 2. Can I just have 2? Please, I'm out of the zone here. Thank you. And then we merge those in to these belts here. And from this point forward, they become blue belts. They don't need to be blue belts here. They need to be blue belts here because we have this extra 15 going into each. So now everything here is full. We have 4 full red belts coming out because they're only red belts. So the last thing we need to do before we totally make the bots mad is to upgrade all of the bus. I go into map mode and do this. Upgrade the whole bus, but I want to avoid putting blue belts where I don't need them. So I'm going to go kind of slowly like we've done before. Like here. And here. And there. If I miss anything, let me know in the comments. There. There. But this should take care of our green circuit problem for this base goal. But what I want to do in the next episode, once all this stuff is upgraded and all those modules are provided, is I want to actually look at... I don't really need to do those, but I'm going to do them anyway. Yeah, we actually almost had enough belts. I want to look at what our production actually is and make sure that we are meeting our production goal of 2.5 science per second, 150 science per minute on the production graphs. So we're going to take a look at that at the beginning or during the next episode, and honestly, that might be it. That might be it for this series. I'm not sure if it'll be one more episode or a couple more episodes, but let me know what you want to see. If you really want to see some outposting, I will start doing outposting. You kind of start with the raw materials processing, like, okay, we're going to mine the iron and take it to a smelting area, smelt the iron. Mine the copper, take it to a smelting area, smelt the copper. Maybe you do a green circuits array with raw, like, ore inputs. Maybe you do a green circuit array with plate inputs. So there's a lot of options we can do, but let me know what you think, what you might want to see, and then we'll go from there. Otherwise, I will see you all in the next episode, where we will start looking at how well we're doing with our production here, and then we'll go from there. Thank you all for coming, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.